Hi everybody, I'm Rick Beato. In today's Everything Music, I'm going to show you how to find the key of your song. And we're going to do this really quickly. The first thing you have to know is that anytime you have a dominant seventh chord, it's either going to be the 5-7 in a key or it's going to be a secondary dominant. So the first thing you do is to quickly identify all the 5-7 chords. That means just all the straight dominant chords. I'm going to do it really fast. I'm going to put a 5-7 below each one of them. That's a 5-7 chord there. G7, 5-7 there. Next line, B flat 7 is a 5-7. Right here, D7 is a 5-7. E7 is a 5-7. D7 is a 5-7. B7 is a 5-7. C7 is a 5-7. E flat 7 is a 5-7. G flat 7, 5-7. Then you go down here, E flat 7 is a 5-7. And then C7 is a 5-7. Okay, so I found all these 5-7 chords. These can only be a secondary dominant or the 5 chord in a key. Now, how do you know whether it's changed key? You look at the chords before it or after it or both. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to look at this E flat 7. If there's a B flat minor 7 before it, that's a 2 chord, and then you know you're in the key of A flat. Well, what do I have right before it? Is a 2 chord. So I know I'm in the key of A flat. Then I'm going to quickly look around it. Is F minor 7 part of A flat? Yes. It's the 6th chord of A flat. What about this? A flat major 7. That's the 1 chord in A flat major. D flat major 7 is the 4 chord in A flat major. So we know that this entire area here is A flat major. Okay? Now, we've changed keys here because I have a 5-7 chord here. Well, G7 only comes from the key of C. Is there a D minor 7 chord or some other chords from the key of C around it? Yes, there's a D minor 7 chord right before it, the 2 chord. C major 7 is the 1 chord. Okay, so right here, you are in the key of C for these bars, at least through there. Then I come down here and I see a 5-7 chord. Well, this 5-7 chord, B flat 7, is only found in the key of E flat major. Are there other chords from the key of E flat major around it? Yes, there are. Right after it's an E flat major 7. So you know you're in the key of E flat major because that's the 1 chord. F minor 7 is the 2 chord in the key of E flat major. Oh, C minor 7 is the 6th chord. Okay? A flat major 7 is the 4 chord. Then I go up here and I say D7. Well, that's not part of E flat major. So we're in a new key here. But this whole thing right here, this whole little block, is all in E flat major. Look at the chord pattern. 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 2, 5, 1. 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. You've changed keys. You've gone from A flat major to E flat major, but it's the same chord pattern. But then D7 only comes from the key of G. Are there chords on either side of it that are from the key of G? Yes, there are. There's the 1 chord right after it. So you know you're in the key of G here. What about A minor 7? Yeah, that's the 2 chord in the key of G major. B minor 7, that's the 3 chord in the key of G major. E7 is a secondary dominant, and it's going to A minor here. It's going to the 2 chord, so you're in the 2 chord here. So this is actually a 5-7 of 2. That's how to quickly identify that, because you look for the 2 chord after that to see if it's still in this key of G. So we're still in the key of G here, to the 5 chord to the 1 chord for 2 bars, okay? But then we've changed here. This F sharp minor is not in the key of G major. It would be F sharp minor 7 flat 5 if it were. And some people actually play that there, but you've actually changed keys here. So from here all the way over to here, we are in the key of G major, okay? Then we've changed keys. B7 only comes from the key of E major. Is there an E major chord after it? Yes, there is. That's the 1 chord. F sharp minor 7 is the 2 chord in E major, okay? So we know that this is E major. We know this is not from E major because C7 comes from the key of F or F minor, okay? So we are in the key of E major right here. I don't know where to write it here, but I'll write it right there, E major, for those bars. The C7 chord here is a 5 chord. I found it here. I'm looking right here, and I'm looking for familiar patterns. So I look here and I say, okay, that's the 5 chord in A flat major, just like we had up here. It's the same progression. So this is the 1 chord, this is the 2 chord, this is the 6 chord. So this chord here, C7 in relation to F minor, is the 5-7 of 6. Okay? That's how you know it's a secondary dominant and how you know that's not the 5 chord in the key of F. It's actually the 5 chord in the key of F minor, but F minor is functioning as a 6 chord here. D flat major is the 4 chord in A flat, so you're in A flat major all the way to here, but then you hit this G flat 7. So you got D flat minor 7 to G flat 7, okay? That would be C flat major. This is a 2 chord to a 5 chord in C flat major. You could write C sharp minor 7 to F sharp 7, and you would say, oh, that's in B major, but this is C flat major. So that's a 2-5 chord in the key of C flat. So you've modulated there, so this is a new key. So I'm going to call C flat major, even though that's weird. C minor 7. Now this is kind of out in the blue because this is not related to the key of C flat. C minor 7. Then you have to go, well, what is the common key of the song? You look to the first progression in the song and you see the first cadence. The song starts in A flat major, okay? Is C minor 7 part of A flat major? Yes, it is. It's the 3 chord. So you can always give a safe bet because you've heard that tonality so much in the song, you're going to naturally just imply that it's part of A flat major. Then you have a B diminished 7, and this is one of these descending diminished 7th chords that resolve down a half step that I was talking about in one of my videos. So it's a diminished 7 of 2, okay? I'm going to put 7 diminished 7 of 2, and people are going to probably ask me about that. We'll talk about that more later. Going to the 2 chord in A flat major, so you're in A flat major clearly here. You're really in A flat major starting here, okay? This is the beginning of A flat major. And that goes all the way here. That's a secondary diminished 7th chord, but a descending one, 2, 5, 1. And then you have a C7 chord. Well, that is not in the key of A flat major, so you've changed keys. And this is a minor 7 flat 5 chord. Anytime you have a minor 7 flat 5 chord, it functions as a 2 minor chord. So I'm going to put 2 minor 7 flat 5. And this should resolve to F minor because this is a 2-5 in the key of F minor. And if I go from here to the beginning of the song, what do I go to? I go to F minor. So I know that this is now, this 2-5-1 is in the key of F minor for a brief instance, and then it resolves to A flat major, which is the relative major. Okay, for you rock players out there, how do you quickly find the key that you're in if you don't have a 7th chord? Well, you look to the major chords to figure it out. The first thing you do, in this first example, I look at these and I say, okay, are we in C major? Well, D major is not in the key of C major, and C major is not in the key of D major. I know that because the D major scale has a C sharp in it, okay? So obviously this is the one that's left over, and I put a 1 here. That's the 1 chord. D major is the 5 chord. C major is the 4 chord. So you have a 4-1-5 in the key of G major. You solo with a G major scale, with a G major pentatonic, G minor pentatonic, whatever you'd like. The next thing, there's a little secret to this too. Anytime you have 2 major chords a whole step apart, they are the 4 and 5 chords of a particular key. So let's look and see if we have that in the next example. C and B flat, they're a whole step apart. Well, this is going to be the 4 chord, B flat, because it's the lower one. C is going to be the 5 chord. We're in the key of F because those are the 4 and 5 chord of the key of F, and G minor is the 2 chord. Okay, so we are in the key of F here. So if you play an F major scale over that, you're going to be in the right key. What about this last example? Do we have 2 major chords that are a whole step apart? Let's look. A and B, yes. So A is going to be the 4 chord. Remember, the lower one's always the 4 chord. Upper one's going to be the 5 chord. Do the other chords fit in the key of E? Yes. The 1 chord is E major. C sharp minor is the 6 chord. So you are in the key of E major. That's all for now. Please subscribe here to my Everything Music YouTube channel. Share this video with your friends that are musicians and tell them to subscribe. I'm Rick Beato. We'll see you soon.